Hi, it's John, and today we're going to put a little recycling in your cycling as we take a look back at Shimano's clipless pedal past. Welcome to Cycling on a Shoestring. I'm John. Great to have you along. Something a little different today, something that's going to save me money because I'm going to recycle some parts I was given almost 25 years ago by a friend of mine, and the parts are going to go on this particular bike, and it's the pedals you saw starting off this particular video. This is my first half-decent road bike. I paid, back in the late 90s, about $875 for this bicycle. Up to riding this, I was riding around on, cheap department store 10 speeds, which really got me into cycling. And then I bought this one. It's a Gardine Loria, completely handmade steel bicycle by a guy named Joe Gardine in the Toronto area, Scarborough, Ontario. Joe passed away just a couple of years ago, but he made a lot of these bikes, and I had a lot of friends who rode on these bicycles. A friend of mine sold these in Eastern Ontario. Just quickly, it's got an RSX Grupo on it, other than the shifters which had to be replaced a few years ago. It's got a 46, 36, 26 chainring on the front. And on the back, it's 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21, and 24. So it's a 7-speed bicycle. Gearing on this bicycle with a 26, 24 in the back is not too far off from the compact crankset I've got on my carbon road bike. So even with the triple on here, which you think you'd have a granny gear to make it real easy, not terribly easier than riding my other road bike. I love this bike. I will never, ever sell this bicycle. It has a real soft spot in my heart. And it's just something about riding on steel bicycles, which if you've never done it, I would suggest you just go out and ride one every once in a while. It's very compliant to ride on. Love this bicycle. So when I originally got it, I wanted to put some road pedals on it, and a friend of mine gave me these right here, these Shimano road pedals. Now, they don't look unlike Shimano pedals you might see today. I'm going to take a closer look at these in just a moment. But there are very much different. These particular ones made between 1990 and 1995, and I never ever used them. They're almost in pristine condition, and they're at the very least 25 years old and could be as much as 30 years old. So let's take a closer look at these. I'll explain what they're all about, and I'll tell you why I'm going to put them on this particular bicycle when I'm riding this spring. So what model of pedal is this? It's a Shimano PD-1056. On the back of the pedal, you've got a mode adjustment for single release or multi-release. So single release meaning basically when you're clipped in, you turn your foot to the outside of your bicycle and you'll come released, where you could do it to the inside, outside, and, from what I understand, pull your heel out of these. So basically it's all directions. Now, I really wouldn't want to be in the multi-mode. I can't imagine riding along, maybe sprinting out of the saddle and pulling your foot out of the pedal. That could be really dangerous, so don't want to do that. Now, the key behind these and what these pedals are all about is right here. It says Look Patent. So basically, this is a Look pedal with Shimano printed on it, because Shimano hadn't developed their own clipless pedal road technology at that point, so they were using a Look patent. Product of France written on there. So again, this is from 1990 to 95. On the back of the pedal, you've got an adjustment for tension for the cleat inside the pedal. I've kind of got it set up in the middle right now, and I'll adjust it later to see if I want it tighter or looser. Now, looking at the back here, you can see the cleats. On the left-hand side, you can see a typical Shimano cleat that you might be using if you're using Shimano Y105 pedals, Ultegra, Dura Ace. But on this side over here, this is basically a Look Delta cleat. This is from a company called XU-Star that makes these. They paid about $15 for these cleats, but they are Look Delta cleats. They come in different colors, much like the Shimano ones. These ones are black. They also come in gray and red. The black ones are fixed, so there's 0-degree float on them. The red ones are 9-degree float, and the gray ones come somewhere in the middle. I wasn't able to find any gray ones, but when I was reading about these pedals, and there's not a lot of information online about these, a guy suggested that these already have a little bit of float built in. Don't buy the gray, don't buy the red. You'll feel like you're skating on ice if you actually buy those ones. Buy the black ones, and you'll find that there's enough float in them if you're looking for some. So let's try these out. Let's see how the Shimano PD-1056 work, and see if they clip in and clip out after 25, 30 years. So why am I going to be putting these on this particular bike, you might ask? Well, it really comes down to these particular shoes right here, which I purchased last summer. These are the RC7s from Shimano, and if you haven't seen the review to these shoes, you can look at the video, which is coming up above my head right now. You can click on that. And I didn't want to get these all covered in crud when I'm riding around this spring, because I'm going to just be wearing shoe covers, and it's pretty wet, pretty dirty, and roads can get very filthy. I don't want to get these dirty. So I'm also going to be recycling these, which I retired last summer. These are the R170s that I wore for about 6 or 7 years. I don't care if I get these dirty, and I can utilize the pedals that I have had sitting in my toolbox for many, many years. I already put the cleats on here. So why don't we see how they work? I'll put them on this bike, see if I can clip in and clip out, and see if there's any float, because that's the thing I'm kind of concerned about with these particular pedals. All right, so there's the pedal, there's the shoe, and let's see how they snap in. Oh, they snap in nice. I mean, they really clip in good. Now, as far as having any float, there's a bit of side-by-side play on them. And again, what I mentioned earlier was that these are the black cleats, which are supposed to be fixed and don't have any play at all in them, but there is a bit of side-by-side on them, so there's a little bit of float on them, which is good. I do want to have a little bit of float because I don't want to blow out my knees, but I didn't want to have too much on them. But I think they're going to be just fine. Question is whether they're lined up properly. I'll have to adjust them maybe after my first ride or when I'm out on my first ride. Let's see how they come out. Yeah, they come out really nice as well. So really nice, actually, the pedals. I'm going to have to pull them apart and do a little maintenance on them. So, they're 25 to 30 years old. I don't think they've ever been greased. The original grease is still in them. So I'm going to pull them apart, grease them up, make sure they're in good mechanical working order. But otherwise, I think they're going to be great on this bike. That wraps up the video. Thank you very much for watching. And if you're a parts recycler or you have an old bike that you'll never get rid of because it's got a special place in your heart, let me know about that in the comments below. If you could give me a like on this video, that'd be terrific. Subscribe to the channel, click on the bell as well to get notifications, and I'll see you next time on Cycling on a Shoestring.